just broken.
There we go. You probably have to turn it down now. All right, we're here. We're here. Let me turn down this 80s disco boogie.
Feels like credits need to start rolling.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. You know, that is one area of the Roblox games that I've noticed that is lacking, and I'm sure that there's, you know, because it's unnecessary. But video game music used to be extremely important, and it was almost iconic. But I don't think you can't name new games and then remember their theme songs now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The last big one, I think, was like Halo. But that was like 2003,
Yeah. This is done. This is done. Yeah, like any of the video games I play now, there's no soundtrack, really. I mean, there is, but there isn't. Grand Theft Auto will bring it back around because they license music, but that's a different animal.
Yeah, but they license it. It's not like it's a brand new thing.
Hold on, let me make sure our cameras. This is a good warm up too. This is a good natural.
It's not like Tetris where you know it's like the.
I'm a Zelda guy myself.
Do you remember it?
Yeah.
See? I'm testing my theory, and I tested it with, honestly, our hardest member, and he nailed it. He fucking swished the ball. Dwight, I was going to say Dwight. No, that's Desmond Bain right there. Look at that. You know what he just did? Desmond Bain. He would give him the ball and have him call game. Swish.
Why are you struggling so much? With
He's not a singer. No, give me
his eyes are bulging out as he's trying to.
It was harder than my losing
I'm
my
trying to
voice.
get all the notes.
You know what's weird? Is you know what I think you did? Is that song you've heard so many times from your youth, and your dad was into it. So obviously there's weight there. I think you may have done it in the real key.
No,
because that's why you're going so high. You could have gone da, 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 da. You could have done it way lower register, take it down a couple octaves, but you didn't. Your memory got triggered, and then you went to what it really sounds like, and you're trying to emulate like 8-bit music. I think that's a thing.
All right, Tom's a Zeldaman. I think Mike Tyson's Punch-Out's probably my go-to video game. That
was just when he was running behind.
That's true.
Yeah, that black guy that stole his bike.
The fat black guy.
Remember that meme that was like, stole my bike, stole my bike.
Yeah, because during the fight it was bump, ba-da-dun, dun, da-da-dun.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Ba-dun.
Video game music is good, man. But only to old people.
Giving you Punch King Hippo. He's like, ho, 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 ho.
And then his pants fall down. Right?
That was actually Soda Popinski.
Oh,
that
yeah,
did that.
Yeah.
No, I thought King Hippo, his pants, you hit him in the belly. He's an X on his belly.
He did. I was talking about Tom's vocal impressions.
I did the soda pop, not the hippo.
Which, little trivia, he was supposed to be Vodka Drunkinski, and Nintendo was like, no, we can't have that.
He's got to be Soda Popinski. They're bitter enemies. All right. Would you like to start? I do have a theme song for Kenny. It may make him mad. That's just you got to roll the dice. All right. Mr. Tom.
Yeah.
Start us off, please, sir. Here we go. In 3, 2.
Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We're live. We're live on Twitch. We're live on YouTube. We'd love it if you come over and join us in the chat room. You can talk to some really cool, like-minded people. Just search for @TomandDanLive on Twitch and also on YouTube. Tons of videos on there, too. Like and subscribe.
We've said it all week. Our two big events are Saturday and Sunday. Yep. You guys know, downtown Sanford.
Yes, sir. Please come to the Beer Fest. This is going to be the biggest one ever, and we'd love to see you.
I've lost my voice from promoting it so much.
You're fine. You're totally fine. And we both, we've been coughing and sneezing. The allergies are in the air. You know.
We got to stop making out before the show.
You know what?
Don't say that, Kenny.
I am not that good at making out. I don't know if you guys
I'm excellent.
put that together.
I'd say this. I'm excellent at making out. My wife, not into it.
Interesting.
Yeah, she's not into it.
I make out like, I'm not sure you're familiar with the videos online, the old du jour.
I love
when
old
the
du jour.
old man makes out with the younger woman.
It's hard to watch.
That's how I
it's
make
very
out.
hard to watch. His wispy mustache is
it's
bristling this smooth, fat young pig.
It could be described as disgusting.
Yeah, it can be that. Ladies and gentlemen, on the couch, we haven't talked to this gentleman in a while. I wrote him a brand new theme song.
Yo.
It's our very good friend, Kenny.
Kenny was on the island. Kenny is in the files. Kenny was caught blowing bubba. He's totally gay, but he's in denial. It's Kenny, our greatest friend.
No,
I made up for it at the end.
Yeah.
Made up for it at the end.
See, you got to bring it back around. As long as you bring it back around.
It was it's like the compliment sandwich. It's like, hey, I made you a song. I got the high.
Yeah.
Kenny's in the files and on the island. Got the low.
Yeah.
Hey, he's our greatest friend. Back up high.
And you know Bubba, and then we circle back around.
Which I was reading the chat, by the way. Little Mac was the boxer. It was Doc Lewis that was the trainer. Someone was like saying like Mac was the trainer, and I'm like, no.
Little Mac was the green shorted tiny boxer man.
Yeah.
And what was
and
his
he's
name?
Irish,
Dr.
right?
Lewis?
Doc Lewis.
Doc Lewis?
You're gonna do it, Mac. You're gonna do it, baby. Come on, baby.
It was all just racial stereotypes.
Yeah.
Piston, Honda, and
Yeah.
the Great Tiger. Tom's getting so much glee out of remembering.
He tried to be Piston Honda for Halloween. His wife vetoed it.
How you doing, Kenny?
I'm doing good. Got back from a whirlwind tour, working around the country. I was in DC and Indianapolis and LA and San Antonio, just all over the place. In Minneapolis, they have a statue of Mary Tyler Moore.
Have you ever been to Megalopolis?
No, I haven't. I'll have to go there. So I know Mary Tyler Moore was a real person, but they have a statue of her in Minneapolis.
Yeah, that's where she threw her hat.
Yeah, Philly has the Rocky statue with his gloves in the air. Are there any other cities that really devote an actual statue to a fictional character?
To a fictional character. Yeah.
And again, I understand Mary Tyler Moore was a real person, but the statue is to the fictional version.
I want to say Mount Pilot, or the real area. Okay, it's I think it's a statue of either Andy Griffith or Barney Fife as Barney, Sheriff Barney Fife.
Oh.
It was Don Knotts who was the actor who played it, but I think it is a. Yeah, thank you, Christine. Helped me. It's Andy and Opie both have a statue.
Interesting.
But that one I almost feel like doesn't really count, and the reason I'll say that is because I feel like Andy Griffith and Don Knotts playing Barney Fife were just playing really themselves and showing their friendship in that show, sort of, kind of, you know? I loved that show.
So the statue is basically paying homage to a character that brought a lot of marketing attention to
the
that
city.
area.
Yeah, an iconic moment of the city.
I would argue that there should be a statue of either Sloth or someone from the Goonies. Sloth would be the easiest
You can't
one
do a
to-
Sloth guy. People would protest. Oh, man.
And-
Sloth's as bad as a Confederate statue at this point.
in Oregon, because I feel like the Goonies did promote the Pacific Northwest.
The best of any movie.
Because people, I know me as a
Yeah.
young
Adventure.
Florida boy.
It represented adventure.
I was like, look at that. It's great. There's a place in the United States with crazy rocks right off the beach
Yes.
that look cool. Like, I didn't know, I never knew.
It looks like where pirates would
It
go
was
with their
like-
treasure. Sure.
So would they have a Michael Scott or a Dwight Schrute in Scranton, Pennsylvania?
It does. You could make the argument they should. The problem is there's no iconic place to visit. Like, if you go off the shore of, like, the Portland, Oregon area, you get to see what Goonies saw. Like, you see the rocks on the outside of the beaches. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When you go to Philadelphia, you see the stairs that, you run up and that Rocky ran up. And, like, Scranton, there is a building that looks like I think
I'm
they
sure
use
there's
for
a front
opening
that
credits.
they use, but why, who's going to go there? It's an industrial area.
Yeah. So it didn't really. There's not a place for you to like visit. Unless I'm wrong, maybe there is some sort of like office style tour.
Our very good friend Christine, who we love, put a list of these in the chat room. We got Rocky Balboa in Philadelphia. Mary Tyler Moore in Minneapolis, Sheriff Andy Taylor and Opie in Mount Airy, which was Mount Airy was what the area that they made, and then the fictional version of Mount Airy would have been Mount Pilot.
Okay, all right. So you're right.
Yeah, so I was right on that one. Then Superman. Oh, Superman. We missed the biggest one. Superman and that one is in.
Yeah, but Metropolis isn't a real city.
Yeah.
No, but she's saying there's a Metropolis, Illinois. Maybe there is.
Okay.
Maybe there is. You see what I'm saying? Because they do
It's like
like to
Chevy
do that.
Chase, Maryland.
No, but they love to do that, right? Like I'm surprised. Like Christmas, Florida. You know, there's a Santa Claus out there. You know, like should we be allowed to do that?
But technically, it was like New York, right? It was New York City.
Oh no, it's supposed to be. Yeah.
In the fantasy world. Oh.
So my illiterate ass, I was like, I saw Ralph Cramden, but initially I thought that said Kramer, and I was like, "There's a Kramer statue." In New
No,
York?
Ralph Cramden from the Honeymooners.
No, I get
right?
that.
Yeah,
I was gonna read it from
he
this
was the
angle.
skinny. No, he was the. Was he?
No, he was a fat one.
He was the fat one.
Fat one loved spousal abuse.
He drove a bus, right?
Yep.
Jackie Gleason.
Pow to the moon.
And then his
Ralph was his neighbor who was the super skinny.
Yeah.
It goes back to the trope: one skinny, one fat. The comedy duo.
Yeah. We have that now. I'm the fat one. It's fine.
No, you need to get real fat.
Well, you had like Laurel and
trying.
Hardy. Abbott and Costello.
I'm trying, but I have cancer.
we could eat through that.
I can eat through anything.
Apparently, ice cream is a key. All the actors, they use ice cream diets to gain on weight.
Yeah, milkshakes. What's his face? Christian Bale apparently just like consumed milkshakes 5 times a day.
Well, my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
There it is. There it is.
Is that the top or bottom?
I think it can be either, but I think traditionally I feel like the milkshake is the bottom.
No,
Okay.
at the top, milk. Milk lemonade, guys. Where does the milk come from?
So your lemonade shake? Frozen
No,
lemonade on the
that's why-
I like a milkshake on the top and frozen lemonade on the
But
bottom.
if it's a chocolate milkshake.
yeah. It's lumpy.
Anyway, what else you got, Kenny?
So you guys always confounds Tom how there are people who are CEOs, brilliant marketers and everything, and they just come up with like absolute disastrous promotional campaigns. And there's another one I want to show you.
You mean his
about.
segment called "How Does This Happen"?
Yep.
Okay.
And it was LG. This was back in 2013. The company LG, they were releasing their phone, the G2, which was their flagship phone at the time.
LG. I remember when there was a press for all LG ever. It was like LG washer dryer.
Oh, yeah.
LG TV. It was like LG, the latest and greatest. And I believe that my father was like, I don't trust it. Like I think like, he didn't like that LG.
Well, they had a cell phone coming out, and so in South Korea, what they were going to do is they were going to launch a bunch of balloons, and attached to the balloons are vouchers that you can get a brand new phone. They're going to fly them all over Seoul, South Korea, and then eventually when the balloons deflate, you know, these vouchers will flutter to the ground, right? And they're going to do this huge thing. They wanted to make a big spectacle out of it, so they told the press, hey guys, we're going to make this big balloon launch on this date, this time, media only. Well, of course, that information got leaked to the public. And so a lot of people are like, well, why wait for the balloons to fly all over the city when I can just go to the balloon release and I'll just shoot the balloons down with BB guns? People had like harpoons with like pointy sticks. People had butterfly nets.
Well, they do love fish.
So
right,
like,
they're a fish people.
Hundreds of people showed up to this event. They didn't have any security because, again, they thought it was just going to be media, you know, getting footage of it. So they released the balloons, and like a swarm of Black Friday shoppers from back in the day, they were like, again, firing guns in the air, popping these balloons, taking like sharp sticks and like stabbing it, like trying to collect this. Because these were their flagship phones, so they were like $900 a piece. And they didn't have any security. Like a dozen people had to go to the hospital.
Sounds like a
cover
free
it.
beer fest to me.
So, and then, although you could make the argument that the actual, like, the chaos and this promotion going wrong probably got more publicity.
It took
than
us
if
a
it
while
went
to
right.
catch up to that, right, though? Like, at the time this was happening, I feel like now we live in a time where people are like, how can I make the biggest spectacle even if it kills people, but they'll remember my product, you know? But it took us a long time to build
You're right.
up to that.
Maybe.
And in something when it comes to a phone, like a tech company like that, you're like, wait, if they can't pull off a promotional release correct, how good is their phone going to be? Because it's not, you know, this was the time when the iPhone was still out. Samsung had their phones going out. HTC was still a thing. So for LG to come out with their phone and you see this is their promotional like whiff with, again, people going to the hospital because they were getting trampled on and stabbed, and like it was almost sitcom like, because there's some footage of like people with butterfly nets trying to swat at the vouchers and like entangling other people and people like getting all stuck in the nets, and it was
Very
absolute
Black
chaos.
Friday. We were talking about that with our buddy John Graham. I like these sort of things. I love it when we've been a part of some of these things. Like we've tried to do vouchers and we've done coupons and we've done contests. And undoubtedly when you do that, the likelihood of something going wrong can be very high.
Publicity stunts. I was talking to Daniel about we had a meeting.
Let's
Remember
talk about
with
it.
AI? We were talking to AI about come up with a publicity stunt for us. Like Tom and Dan need a good old fashioned publicity
It's
stunt.
like AI doesn't even understand what it is.
And they're hard.
Dumbest ideas I've ever been given.
They're hard to do and pull off, and almost like a failed publicity stunt is easier to pull off. Like, you know.
Cybertruck
Can we
windshield breaking.
emulate this?
Yeah.
Cybertruck's windshield breaking is the example.
Okay, yes.
You know, he
Was
goes on
that
the
real?
stage. No, I don't believe it was real.
Or was that a planned
I think
failed
it was a planned
publicity?
fail. I do. And I hate that I'm
see-
that jaded about it.
But I think there are so many like perfect moments that happen in that. Like there was an iPhone release where there was no like connection to the internet, so the phone kept crashing.
Well,
Maybe
the
not
latest
iPhone, there
Meta,
was
the
microphones.
latest Meta
Yeah.
glasses, you know, like it didn't even work. And Zuckerberg's like, whatever. And then they're like, we're selling more than we ever have. I don't understand it.
Yeah, like it didn't seem to hurt
No, it didn't.
the fact that
I
it
read-
got more publicity because people are like, look, and it went wrong.
Okay, unless it's fake news, I read an article last week of when that failed thing happened where he's wearing the new Meta glasses and he's trying to connect and talk to his buddy, and it failed multiple times, that after that event, they started breaking records with how many they sold. And I'm like, well, I live in the worst timeline then, because I don't understand anything. Because to me, it didn't make me want the product, but maybe it does. I don't know.
So
Maybe I'm too old for everything.
Well, and then it goes back to like the balloon launch. Okay, let's say you're the organizers of it and the media's there, and then you just see hundreds of people just in droves coming your way. Like, whose idea was like, yep, still launch them. Like, you know what's going to happen. You see them with pitchforks and BB guns and
that's
nets
what
and
makes
everything.
me think they knew it was going to happen, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this will be like the media will pick up on this, and then the catastrophe will make even bigger headlines." And like, you know, that's a win-win because who cares who gets the phones? You're already donating them anyway.
Yeah, just talk about the
Yeah.
phones. Taylor Swift said
Yeah.
that, this year? When her album, the Life of a Showgirl was released. And then, there were many reports coming out, let's say 2 weeks after, saying that, oh, man, this is her worst release ever, and it was terrible. And then she basically said, she came out and said, it doesn't matter. For the last 2 weeks, you've been talking about this, being bad, and you're talking about it more than anything else. So I'm winning.
Yeah,
And if you look at her numbers, she had she broke all records for herself.
I think the only time that it backfires is in this instance where people go to the hospital. I think if it was just chaotic and the balloon release didn't go well and it was just, calamity and security wasn't prepared, I think that's one thing. But the fact that 12 people had to go to the hospital and LG ended up having to pay their medical bills, that's when I think it's the average of the mean or whatever the bell curve
But
that it gets on
sometimes-
the other end of it.
But if South Korea is not a litigious society, then some medical bills, who cares? Like if you couldn't do it in the United States because you'd be sued for a gross amount that you didn't. It's like not worth it. But it's like, hey, we got to pay some medical bills. This happens, whatever. No one's gonna sue us because we're in South Korea. Well,
I do think we also live in a different time when there are people in advertising and media where if things get way spicier than they've ever been and some people get hurt, where they're like, well, that's just kind of the way we do things now. Like it's a
Collateral damage.
Yeah, as long as they're not dead and we can pay them off. Okay, we paid them off. They're not dead. Did we sell the most we've ever had? And they're like, yes, we have. Then they're like, then we did it. I think that's where we are. And that kind of sucks.
Real quick, I got a question for you. You brought up Zuckerberg, and it reminded me of some TikTok video I saw of Zuckerberg at that UFC fight that recently happened, where that huge brawl broke out. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And this wasn't about that, but it was about Zuckerberg wearing a $2.5 million watch. And they just pointed it out, like it zoomed in, and then they showed what kind of watch it was, and then how much it's worth.
And they gave you the specs. I think I've seen this video. Yeah.
And then it got me thinking. I was like, man, you're kind of taking a chance walking around with a $2.5 million watch.
That's dumb.
Because now, I mean that especially with all these high profile celebrity and sports star robberies going on, it seems like.
Yeah, the dude for the Niners, Ricky Pearsall, got shot.
Yeah, they just alluded to the dude that got shot from the Jets.
He's breathing on his own.
But they
now.
alluded to that being another robbery that may have gone awry.
So it seems to me like a weird, foolish thing for Zuckerberg, who the world knows he's a billionaire.
It's what nerds do, though, dude.
So it's weird thing to buy a $2 million watch and wear it around.
He's not cool. He's an awkward nerd.
Because it's like, what are you trying to show? Like, I understand maybe you like this watch, but it's like wearing it in public and put your life at risk, possibly, if someone wants to rob you, or they see that and they're like, hey, Zuckerberg walks around with a $2 million watch.
Yeah,
next time,
but you saw him in
security.
the
I'm sure
you saw him in the stands. You didn't see his security, so you don't know when he's going from point A to point B how many people might be surrounding him.
I just think it's naturally what nerds do. Like, the guy is not cool and he knows that he's hated, so you do things like that because it's the only flex you have. Have you
he's
seen
a billionaire,
but
everybody knows he's a billionaire.
No, I know, but like when you see that, it's still a flex, But when you okay, for
is
instance,
it a flex?
I mean, I think to average people, it is.
It's kind of a cheap watch for a billionaire.
Yeah, but
I don't think people wear billion-dollar watches.
No,
though.
I
mean, $2 million is about as much as I've ever seen.
Can and you can't. That's what he's showing off.
It's a gate-kept thing.
It's like the one of the Paul brothers with the necklace of the rare Pokemon card that was dangling around his
I
neck.
know.
You know, it's like he's doing it just to prove I can and you can't.
The Paul brothers are entertainers, though. Zuckerberg is, the
And he
owner of
wants to be them.
Facebook.
I think
He
he
does all the stuff
I
they
think
do,
he
though,
does.
man. He does the jujitsu.
Yep.
He rides the stupid surfboard.
I
He
know,
has
yeah,
the
yeah.
compound. He tries to act cool. He does the floppy broccoli hair. He's not cool. He's awkward. But someone like Bajan, let's say Bajan Robinson. I was just watching him, and like he's got decent money. Obviously not Zuckerberg, but he like went through all the stuff he carried. Fake jewelry, just a regular swatch, black swatch. He's like, I'm not taking a chance on any of that.
Well,
I'm wearing just nothing.
It's kind of like a flex implies that you want to show people that you do have money. And like, so me wearing a super expensive watch would be a flex because people may assume like, oh, Tom Van can't afford, let's say I had a $20,000 Rolex on, and that would be like, whoa, this guy's doing good. He's showing everybody he's doing good. That's what I was kind of thinking. Like
Gotcha.
Zuckerberg doesn't need to show everybody his net worth and what he's like. We see it on the ticker of
But
Facebook.
to a certain extent, Zuckerberg has to show that he does have money. Zuckerberg can't show up with a Casio, $50 watch, because then people will be like, oh, what's his problem?
Also, he doesn't want to be that. You're thinking from your perspective as a person that doesn't care about that. He wants to be these rappers that he's meeting. He wants to be Joe Rogan. He wants to be the cool dude, and he's not, and he never will be. So he's always going to do weird things that are like off the rack awkward to try and flex. That's my opinion on it.
And then
like the surfing thing that he does, we all laughed at it, right? Because it's just so try hard. Everything he does is kind of like a little bit of a flex. And a $2 million watch to like people at a fight, that's a big boy watch.
You get the opposite effect, though, sometimes. And I know he wasn't intentionally doing it, but I think he was, where someone like Andrew Luck intentionally had a flip phone his entire life. He still has a flip phone, and he gloats about having a flip phone because he's trying to prove, hey, I'm a simple man. I don't need all these luxuries. A simple flip phone will work just fine. And it's almost the opposite end of the scale, where you're almost trying to overly show that you're grounded and a simple man.
Just buy a smartphone. There's so much more. I think it would be beneficial. I think at this point, if I'm doing business with you and you're like, I only have a flip phone because I'm a simple man or whatever, it's like, no, you need to answer my emails. You need to, what I'm saying? Like, you need to be more productive. Like the phone is now a tool in society that you need to, if you want to at least compete with everybody else, like GPS and like not waste your time with a lot of things. Answer emails when you're sitting and before you're going to an appointment. Like, be efficient. Like, you have to do that. If you don't do it, you're telling me that you don't care about your business or your own, success.
Yeah, I that's why I always think he's intentionally doing that.
Yes,
Like, he's intentionally trying to show off on that. So going back to like the failed promotion stuff, it reminded me of another one where it's like, was it real? Was it fake? And this is another one when Mission Impossible, like originally, like back in the 90s, they, those old newspaper vending machines where you put the coins in and you open up that giant metal door. They set it up to where when you did that, like a tape recorder would play one of those recorded messages, like from, Mission Impossible style. And it was like a good way to promote the movie, except in a lot of areas, they didn't use strong enough Velcro. So over time, like when you open it up, the entire like audio mechanism fell and people thought they were bombs. And they like were calling in bomb scares like all around.
Yep.
Okay, pause for 1 second.
Okay.
I have to just stop this and restart it. I just noticed that it was going to time out and we were going to lose something.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's what I was in there deleting real fast. The cache is full, so I'm just fixing something.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
hold that thought and let me just back it up just a second.
All good.
And we're totally fine, but I just wanted to catch us there and catch this problem. We can still power through, I think. So let me just see. And 3, 2.
It's weird they thought they were bombs.
Well, this was in the 90s too, so there was a lot of like wires and there's a big audio contraption with reels and, tapes and stuff and Velcro that was supposed to be, attached or whatever. So you have to realize in 1995 technology or whenever that movie came out, everyone was like, what is this giant electronic contraption in my newspaper, machine that I'm grabbing? So that ended up being awkward publicity for the movie.
And that definitely wasn't done on purpose because they're hard to imagine or like pre-plan. Like, oh, these things will eventually fail. People will think they're bombs. Then call, it's like.
Yeah, you can't. How do you figure that out?
Also, a lot of trust by the newspaper company that you put in your money and you only grab one newspaper. Like, come
okay, raise your hand if you ever had to go get newspapers for a radio host, and he told you when you paid for USA Today to grab 4.
I am too young for that.
Until
damn it! I was just about to say, does his name rhyme with Fed?
Yeah,
Phil?
or I'd add
Because-
2. It was at least 2. I'd grab a couple. He'd be like, "Who cares?"
Dan Lee.
Probably one of the worst things I've ever
Get
done.
yourself 4 USA Todays.
Yeah, this is Ed Till.
I need you to cut out the article and put it in front of me.
Anthony, cold fire pizza.
So, not to switch subjects, but
Do
when
it.
you said newspaper, it reminded me of something. So, Crystal often yells at me or says, "Get off your phone. Your family's around."
Are you wearing a newspaper hat again? He loves his newspaper hat.
And
He's a little sailor boy.
and to her defense, she's right. I shouldn't be looking at my phone. I a lot of times I hate it, but
Well, you're doing like email and stuff. I
yes,
see you,
I'm
and it's
doing
coming
business
through at
stuff.
all times.
and I should have like
I'm not defending you. I didn't mean to do that.
boundaries up and then just like, hey, do your business at a different time, whatever. But I get caught. I think of something like I'm just randomly with my family and I'm like, oh, I got to email Colette or
Yeah,
I got to email,
yeah.
I got to email Tracy or
Yeah.
this sponsor emailed me. And then
We got Wix calling in tomorrow.
there's thousands of things swirling around in my head. And
Yeah.
then one will pop up and I'm like, oh, if I don't do it now, then
It's like fishing.
or
Yeah.
I got to remind myself, I got to email myself, hey, do this
But
later.
you might as well do it now.
yeah. Instead of
what
like-
I say.
So anyway, I'm ignoring my family, and then she's like, "Get off your phone and quit ignoring your family." So, and then I'm like,
What if she
"Oh,
texted you that? Would you be more hurt or less hurt?
So, but
I think
people
it would
have
turn him
been
on.
the
If you're speaking my
stereotype
language.
of the dad at the end of the table, just looking at his newspaper. That's what I grew up with.
Oh, the dynamic has changed. Yeah.
And instead of a newspaper, it's just a phone now. And I'm just doing what I saw all dads do
I didn't
when
get
I grew
newspaper.
up.
I got TV. My dad was in the Lazy Boy, feet up, whiskey, dog in his lap. The news was on, and nobody said nothing. You don't talk to him. He's decompressing, right?
Yeah. But it's like that trope of the dad like looking at the newspaper, and all you see is the back of the newspaper
Yep.
at the table. That's been going on for years.
Well, he's decompressing.
and
Men
then his
have hard
wife didn't be
lives.
like, "Hey, get off your newspaper."
It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a power move, though, whenever they were reading it, and then they flapped the top third of
Down.
it down
Yeah.
just so you could see their eyes, and they glare at you, and then they flap it back up again.
He's mad. And then the wife never said, "Hey, Frank, what the hell?" Yeah,
Why don't you get off the newspaper?
yeah, that never happened.
Well, because she knew that he would slowly fold that paper and walk over to her and push her face into a
I
sandwich.
don't know why I thought of that. It's what dads do. They ignore their families.
For my
Anyway.
dad, it was the mute button or the pause. He wasn't a newspaper guy. But, my mom would just be saying something to him, and he'd have to mute it and be like, "What?" Like one of those. That's what we did.
Yeah.
A lot of mute button in our house.
Did your dad utilize DVR when that came out?
Okay.
Because that was something where it's like if you have to mute it, you're missing a part of the action. But that DVR allowed you to pause it, yell at your wife for a bit, and continue where you left off.
I have something very, it's kind of sort of sad. My dad, when he was working for all of his companies, when they started implementing like technology and laptops and computers into like what he did as a salesman, he started rejecting it real hard. Like real hard. And he was almost on the way out. So the DVR was one of those things that I tried to get him to do, but he's like, "I don't need that. Is the TV on?" I'm like, "Yes, Dad, it is, but you can record whatever you want." He's like, "It's fine. I don't need to record whatever I want. I'll just get whatever's there." They're more simple. I think that we are so spoiled with the on-demand stuff. It really is. It started there. I think that's where it started, though. I can get anytime I want it. Not to do a Cartman. But it feels like that.
Yeah.
It feels like we don't need that. That's way too much. It's just get what you get, and then that way you don't become addicted to it. If all I have to watch is old WCW wrestling from 1980s on TV, well, that's what I'm going to watch. And if that's not good enough, then I'll go find something that's not TV.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah,
do that anymore. We have everything, so we go, I'm going to find exactly what I want. And half the time, we don't even find anything. We just search through.
Never-ending search.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
He
it's
nailed
almost
it.
that time where the time it takes for you to find something, time has passed, and now something might be on live television that you want to watch. You know, like if it's a quarter till and you know The Office is coming up next, that 15 minutes of you scrolling and trying to find something, finding the right platform, finding the right show, you might as well just wait that time and watch The Office when it comes on.
Here's an honest man and a person that I admire. EJ says, and I quote, "My dad crammed up his DVR with softcore porn. I had to delete so much of it because he wasted all the memory and couldn't get any of his Cub games." That's a great, thank you for your service, EJ. I think if my dad had known that he could put softcore porn on his DVR, he may not have rejected me wanting him to get a DVR.
You know what? I just thought of this. We're the last generation to know the category of porno our dads like.
Write that down. That's a t-shirt. That's a Tom and Dan t-shirt.
Yeah.
We are the last generation to know the category of porno that our dads like.
Because think about it. Because before our generation, it was so generic, and there was very even little movies at all, and there's like some Playboy magazines, or like we're talking like our grandpa had like
You
the
took what you
generic.
got.
Yeah. And then it started when video came out. It started getting into like you could pick your own genre, and then us as kids found our dad's porn and then watched it and knew what they liked, and then like my sons will never know because it's all on our phone.
You'll never let them know.
Well, unless you listen to the show and then
yeah.
Or maybe
But I'm
they
saying,
ask you,
our
would you
generation,
share? Would you share if they asked you? You tell them.
The new generation. No, but here's the thing. Our dads didn't want to tell us. We stole the video from this closet and watched it. And we were like, oh my God, you like pee-pee?
But I did have a reconnection with my dad, remember? Maybe I had a different relationship. Because when I got older and was gifted the Pam Anderson, Tommy Lee sex tape, I handed that to my dad. It was almost like passing of the torch back. I was like, it was like Mean Joe Green giving his jersey to the kid or the Coca-Cola bottle in the hallway. You know, I was like, here, Dad, have some Pam Anderson on me.
it's like sharing the first beer with your kid. You crack it open. You
Yeah.
pop in that VHS.
Where else you been going, buddy?
So I was at the JW Marriott in San Antonio because one of the clients is doing an event there, and I was only there for a day. And I think as a way to try to like ooh la la and like show off to me, they gave me like a suite there,
Nice.
but it was too fancy for me. And I was only there one night, and I'm like, I'm not going to use the living room. I'm not going to use the balcony. I'm not going to use
I use
the
them all.
giant
Seems like a
shower and
waste.
tub.
Oh no, I do the Home Alone. I jump on the couch, I run to each bed and roll in it.
Like if I was there for the week, yeah, okay, I would set up shop. This would be awesome. But I was there for the night, and I didn't even unpack. I just like kept everything in my bag, and I slept in the bed, used the bathroom. That's it. That's all I used it for. And it was like you spent all this money.
Yeah.
I
me
take a
not to
bubble
use-
bath by myself. I'm smoking weed in there.
Like at this point, I'd rather sleep on the streets and you give me the money that this costs. You know,
Okay.
like,
That
it's
I
one-
can't disagree with.
You know, like you're just. It does seem like a waste when you're staying at a fancy hotel for one night because by the time you check in, like it's nighttime already, and then you're out in the morning and you're just like, I slept here for most of the time I was unconscious. And so I didn't even get, and
Well,
then,
sometimes you're forced to get like a medium-sized room, not a bad one, not a great one because they're all sold out, but a middle of the road, and you do get that buyer's remorse of like, I just spent $600 for one night.
I remember after me and Crystal got married, the first legal one at the Orlando Predators game.
Okay, I appreciate the clarification.
Bushy got us like the president's suite at the embassy right here downtown.
Oh, you mean the La Bohemian?
No, there's the Grand Bohemian, then there's Embassy Suites.
NBC, yeah.
The
It
NBC suites,
NBC
dog.
suites.
it was the one where the travel arena teams would stay at or whatever. It
Yeah.
was a cheaper one, but they do have a president's suite.
It's nice, yeah.
And it's like, bigger bathroom. Like the bathroom's the size of this room. It's not nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But it had like a tiny little like dining room.
Yeah, I like that. Those are cool. Like if you ordered food in, you could sit in there and eat with people.
Yeah, and but I feel like most of that just gets wasted because the rich people that do buy that probably like they never are having a bunch of people over for the dining room. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, they don't even, like they're eating, watching TV, and they're gone the next day, and like nothing gets
Who
used.
really uses the suite? Or does anybody?
Well, let me say this. I've been in a suite before when I've been there for the week, and I'm like, okay, I'm using this as almost like a home office. So when I'm not actively having to do stuff, I'll use it as like, hey, let me put my laptop set up in the living room so I don't have to have it in the bedroom and make it feel like cluttered. Like there's a little bit to like actually unpacking and making it feel like home when I know I'm there for a few days. But like, yeah, the one night thing. Also, it's me. You guys like know how I operate. I'm like, this is too fancy for me. Even if I was here for a while, I'd be like, is there a Hampton Inn nearby with like free sausage breakfast?
Let me ask you this. Why? Well, it's interesting because I'm sure there are some companies that do this, but couldn't you do a business model as a company where that per diem? And I think Andrea's done this before, where they don't even do her lodging or her flight. But they do give her the equivalent of what they would have spent on it. And they're like, here, man.
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. If you want to drive there, take a train there. But as long as you show up at 9 a.m. on Monday in Paris or France, we don't give a damn.
Yeah, that's better.
I think that's smarter. I think it could actually save the company money and make the person... The person happier.
It does. Like when you're dealing with a lot of independent contractors, you typically do it that way. But a lot of the bigger companies have these broker deals with these hotel chains and these airlines. So they're getting a little better rate anyway. So it is a little cheaper for them to book it for you and to kind of put you in these places rather than have you do it on your own. Also, when you're dealing with like a large group of people, you want everyone at the same hotel because you don't want to deal with like someone cheaping out at, the Motel 6, but they're 15 miles away and they'll just, take a ride share every time.
I would do that.
What's the nicest hotel you've ever been in?
True.
I'll tell you mine, what you think. And I just thought of this. I went down to Key West. It wasn't in Key West. It was Alamorada. Northern Key,
yes,
the Keys, and I toured for a wedding, and they booked all this resort for the wedding, and then me and Crystal got one of the bungalows there, and it was like a private, super fancy, Keys resort, and the bungalow that we got was like right on the beach and palm trees everywhere, like super fancy. Like they delivered breakfast every morning and like on a tray, and then you get your own like concierge, that kind of thing.
Hell yeah!
And I remember me and Crystal were extra poor at the time, and then and for whatever reason, just like you said, like I was like I'm not good enough for this. It was uncomfortable the whole time. Like this is being wasted on a piece of trash.
Especially the first time you do it,
Jesus Christ.
Like if you've never experienced it before.
I mean, it's funny, but it's also,
that's how it felt.
There's also sadness there, right? Like it's hilariously funny with a sprinkle of sad on top.
No, there's like you spent too much money on us.
There's also a stereotype where it's like I don't have enough money to like tip everyone, because I think in the back of your mind you're like, anyone who stays here, they're just throwing money. It's like, oh, front desk person here's a 20, bag person here's 100.
Yeah. Oh, they wanted it. And they saw the trash.
I pulled mine up. Here's the nicest one I've ever. I pulled mine up.
Okay.
It was the Ritz-Carlton South Beach, and I had the tippy top suite with the ocean view.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
And remember, they didn't have a room for me. I was working a Gilligan's Island reality show event.
Oh, yeah, the real Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, to interview like Angie Everhart and a bunch of other losers. And so I'm there, and it was me and Black Bean from the Monsters at the time, and we got there, and it was like, they're like, Mr. Bean, here's your room, and he was like, he's gone, and they're like, sorry, we don't have your room. Of course, I'm like, yeah, this is how it works. And then they're like, because we don't have your room ready, we're just gonna go ahead and upgrade you. We're giving you a suite. And the guy was like, you're gonna love it. It had heated marble floors. It would talk to you when you walked into the shower. It would be like, shower turning on. And this is years ago, dude. This is when that stuff didn't exist. And it was so nice. And like you could see the view. It had the crazy balcony. I mean, I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. Like I love this kind of stuff. I loved it. It was freaking amazing.
I was doing a concert.
One night.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to use it.
I was doing a concert in Marco Island, and it was with Creedence Clearwater Revival, but not with Michael McDonald. Like it was everyone else who's a part of it.
Wait a minute. He ain't in Creedence.
I thought he was.
No, the Doobie Brothers are Michael McDonald.
Oh,
Are you talking about John Fogerty?
That's who I meant. John
Okay,
Fogerty.
there you
Yep. So
go.
John Fogerty was there, but everyone else was.
Gotcha.
And it was a charity event, but they didn't want to.
Well, wait a minute. John Fogerty is Creedence. If you have,
It was everyone but him.
well, that's me, you, and Tom right now.
Yeah.
Like we could be Creedence then because he's the guy. Anyway, sorry.
So they didn't want to use their hotel rooms, and there was one for the lead singer, and it was like, again, a 2-bedroom suite at the Ritz-Carlton down in Marco Island. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'll take it for the night. And it like had one of those like it was one of those awkward ones where the hot tub is in the middle of the living room.
I like those.
And-
That's meant for effing.
Well, and then you're like, I didn't think that actually existed, much less at a Ritz-Carlton. You would think that would be like
supposed
at
to-
those seedy Vegas
You're
hotels.
supposed to have that awkward, non-lubricated underwater sex in that.
Like it almost seemed like, am I supposed to be in a robe with Scarface, like just and a pile of cocaine
You
nearby?
kind of are.
Like
yeah.
that's what what it felt like. But I would say that's probably the nicest one I've ever been to, and thankfully, I think all of us we were gifted it. Like none of us actually paid for this experience. We were just like, oh wait, we got this upgrade.
You know, I wonder if they started putting hot tubs in the room because people associate that with being Scarface and like having ultimate power.
So the
and-
trope pushed the design.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah.
You might be right.
although I
It's
don't
definitely trashy though, right? Like if I walk into a hotel room, even if it's super nice, and there's a hot tub in the middle of the room, I think, well, this hotel room was engineered for anal sex.
yeah.
It wasn't
It's like
engineered
a
for,
round bed
Yeah,
or
it
something.
wasn't engineered for
Because
relaxation.
it's either Scarface or Biff from Back to the Future 2.
It's not, but it's not something like Andrea wouldn't buy this for me and then go on up to your room and have your center of the room hot tub soaked, Dan. You see what I'm saying? It's not for that. It's for, you're supposed to have a bunch of smooth pigs in there, naked, and you're supposed to be in there right? It's for sex.
I know it's meant just for opulence and luxury, but I also never understood suites that have a piano in it. Like, who's on vacation
I think
in a
the piano's
suite?
for sex. I swear to God. I think I'm onto something here. It's a sign of opulence, and what do? You get her to take off all her clothes and walk around on the piano like a cat or something.
Yeah. She gets up on
Yeah.
top of it and you're playing.
You're
piano man.
mashing it. Yeah, you're mashing the low keys with the donger.
It's just Tom playing Adele.
So we got a couple more minutes. Anything else, Kenny?
I think we're all sick here. What was the home remedy that you guys grew up with that it was the old wives' tale of oh, if you do this it will help? The one I got was if you have a sore throat, you take a flexible fridge magnet and you place it on your throat because it's supposed to get all the iron moving through your blood. Again, this is utter, it's utter nonsense.
Oh my God.
But we all had that growing up where it was oh yeah, if you snort pure ginger root, then you're gonna it'll make you feel better.
Now, Kenny, you're a foreigner, I could tell, and because foreigners have some
You're Ukrainian, right?
they've got some real mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
Because every time I go down to Miami,
Well, that's the Latin people,
the
right?
Miami moms are putting garlic socks on their kids and all this fruit
Well, hold on.
in the feet.
Tell me more about fruit on the feet.
Yeah, so, I'm telling you, and I have to pretend I'm okay. As they tell me, they're
Does Crystal ever get an
they're
inkling to dip her toe into Latin mom medicine?
oh, they're always trying to get Crystal to put
She's easily influenced.
garlic socks on Tommy and then
Why?
rubs.
What's it gonna do for Tommy? What does he need?
That gets the sickness
he's,
out.
But he's fine.
Yeah,
he'll heal anyway.
No, did he get a little water on him? He's sick. That's what they think. they think any water gets you sick. They can't be cold at all. They had to put garlic socks.
that wet head.
Yeah,
Well, there's one, Stefan Marbury, the former basketball player, albeit he's a lunatic. He would straight up eat Vaseline. So, if he's feeling sick, he would just take, a jar of Vaseline, get a finger of it, and just go,
that will do nothing for
That's
you.
ultimate dumb.
But I'm not. People swear.
That's dumber than my dog. Even my dog won't eat a finger of Vaseline.
If you put them in a lie detector, they will pass it if you say, "Does the garlic socks work?"
Will they
And
believe
give you-
it?
Yes,
Yeah.
they 100%.
And
believe
isn't
it.
that what the lie detector? It's testing whether they believe it or
Yes,
not
yeah,
whether
yeah.
they're lying.
No,
really.
yeah. And so there's a lot of the BS antidote.
Oh, my wife has these.
magnet. A magnet on your throat will absolutely do nothing.
Well, there's the ones where it's like, oh, garlic on the, there's some that were that almost like religious, but there's other ones like the magnet on the throat. Supposedly, there's iron in your blood, and
there is iron in your blood.
It helps concentrate it in the area, which promotes more white blood cells. So that wives' tale was based off of quote unquote scientific fact.
But wouldn't it need to be a magnet that's so utterly powerful that it would be able to like rip microbes of iron out of your throat or something, right?
Again, it is utter nonsense. I'm just saying, like, that always had a base of it. Sometimes you hear those things where it's like, oh, yeah, you just, spray Windex on this, where it's like,
Yeah.
well, why? Why are you doing that?
Fabuloso. We got one in the chat room. Fascinio says, my wife puts onion slices in her ear for an earache.
Oh yeah, the onion. There's a lot of onion slices. Ask them.
What does that do?
Is she Hispanic?
I bet she's hot.
Yeah.
You know what? If they're hot, I can put up with some onion slices.
Kenny, last question. When you fly, are you a TV man or are you a cell phone man?
I'm a fall asleep man.
You can sleep.
Planes are like baby's cribs to me. The moment I'm in my seat, I am out.
So you're an Epstein, I say. No, I'm joking.
I cannot sleep on flights. Like,
neither.
even overnight, like that Swedish flight.
Easy.
And I don't count, like people will be like, oh, Dan, you've passed out on all your flights. That's not sleeping.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not.
Drug-induced
It's not.
coma.
Keep in
It
mind-
is drug
okay,
induced coma.
Here's why, Drake, 13-hour flight, you took half a Xan and you're out like a light. 13 hours on half a Xan, Drake, that's weak. That's weak sauce.
Oh, there's no way that would work for me. I have to have 4 Outback Big Blokes.
Yeah.
Am I lying or not?
Yeah.
I have
3
4,
French fries.
I have 4.
That's as long Xanax.
Yeah, I have 4 Big Bloke Outbacks, and then I have 3 to 4 French fries, and then Tom keeps the last French fry in his pocket just in case I wake up and he can open my mouth and tuck it in there like a horse.
You need to have like those cyanide pills like under your tongue, just sitting
Yeah.
there. And then if you're starting to wake up, he just smashes your jaw so it breaks it open.
All right, Kenny. We appreciate you
Good
coming
to see
by.
you, buddy.
No, thanks guys for
and-
having me here.
Anything you want to promote?
No, I'm actually sleeping in my own bed for the first time in
Congrats.
like a month. So the rest of the year, I'll actually be in
You're
town.
home.
And of course, you guys schedule every event during UCF football games, so I can never come to your beer
Well, the
fest
team's
or-
not good, so come on out to our event.
The money's already spent, Dan.
I love UCF too, but I'm just saying, like, we are not doing well.
we
got
aren't.
2 events. You can come on the Sunday
You
one.
come Sunday.
Yeah, but
Text me.
But
Text
all,
Tom.
all
We'll
the
get you-
beer is on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get you some drinks.
Sampling. We all got some money. Let's just buy some beer.
Yeah, I'll buy you a beer. Come on, I'll buy you as many
What's
beers
the
as you
nicest
want.
hotel room in Sanford? Let's all get it.
You know, they were supposed to renovate this this old school hotel and make it like a new one. I remember Paul showed us like years ago. I don't know why they haven't done anything with
Probably
that yet.
government,
Yeah.
if I had to guess.
But they need to build more hotels and Airbnbs in Sanford.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right.
And they need to bulldoze more tents. When you see tents, just bulldoze. I'm kidding. That's just so heartless and terrible thing to say.
What is it?
I don't know. I don't know why I said that.
We'll see you on Monday.
All right. Good job, buddy.
What's the bulldozing tents thing?
No, I'm just talking about homeless people. Just like when you see
Oh.
tents, just knock them over. We don't need those. They're eyesores.
Are you doing a taste of Baldwin tonight?
I am not. It makes me mad because they set up the barricades like all day.
Half the streets are
I'm like,
blocked
you don't
off.
need to close the streets for an event tonight. You leave it open until 5, then you start putting the barricades up. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, I don't like it. That is Friday, right?
Yeah, that's Friday 1 and 2.
All right, and thanks for letting me stop that thing.
I was gonna crack on it. It's like you shit on PCs so much. It's like ha, Macs and their cache.
No, it just like I have a main folder that is a redundancy file for everything we do, right? And so when this thing's running in the background, there's a whole nother file saving everything just in case we have a power outage. And what's interesting is, and it just started doing this, it's kind of clever, it'll get a red line up here and it'll actually tell you how much time you have so you can prepare for it. But it took me years to figure it out. So when I was sitting here, I saw the red line pop up and I've never seen it live. It's always been after the fact when we've had something fail. So when I saw it, I was like, oh shit. And when I clicked it, it gave me a countdown and it said like you have 3 minutes and 24 seconds remaining. So I knew you guys were into something. So what I did is I went to the machine, I went to the big folder, I went inside of it and I found all my files for September and October. I don't need them. I've already done all that, been there, done that. deleted all September, deleted all of October, killed the folder, then stopped, then restarted, and then it goes, it grabs the folder again, it looks, it sees that all that file's gone, and it's like, we're good now. So yeah, it took a minute.
There's no way to auto delete it.
I'm sure I could write a script, or SJ could probably write a script to do it, but it's fine to just do. Normally I just do it at the end of the month, but we've been doing so much double recording and just doing so much. I think it just hit it a little early. Because, we have...
I'm sure there's a part where it's like, hey, if it's 2 months or older, then yeah, go ahead and auto-delete, but...
Oh, yeah, that's actually a really good idea, dude.
But it sounds like that's what you're doing anyway,
Well, I'm doing it manually and having to, look at it, which, isn't necessarily the best. Thank you for coming in, man. Very good to see you.
Hopefully, it all gets out of our system.
Yeah, man. Well, mine's just residual sniffs. I'm not sick.
Oh, mine is because Indianapolis was 47 degrees and I come here and it's 81, so it's my body doesn't know what that was.
Yeah, well, get some rest, man.
Yeah, you too, guys.
See ya.
Fun this weekend.
44 men's split. Okay, got that saved. Go to Zoom, start a new meeting. All right, there we go. Oh, thank you, Tracy. Appreciate that. Yeah, I saw that roll through. I saw him while we were doing this. I saw him say thank you. So I appreciate you doing that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ralph, what up, buddy? Ralph, where are you at, man? Very good to see you. I always try to comment. If you ever comment on any of our stuff, I always try to comment back to you. End up being good on time, I think. We'll just have to do a couple of intros. Chris Jericho is coming to Cameo. Would have imagined someone like him would have been on there before. Canadian. Oh, my brain. My poor brain. Comedian Shane Mauss. Maz. Oh, Wicked for Good is tonight? Is your wife going to see it?
She's going on Saturday.
Nice. That'll be fun. That's going to be a good movie. I very much enjoyed the other one. Got some emails.
I need to find out how to pronounce this guy's last name.
Pretty sure it's Mouse. But if you go to YouTube and type in his name, normally someone will say it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shane Mauss!
There you go. That's him saying his own name. Shane Mauss.
Moss. So it's
Yeah.
Moss.
That was him sharing his... He introduced himself.
Perfect.
Shane Mauss. I got a new episode of The Chair Company waiting for me. That's good.
I saw the TikTok reaction videos of the last episode.
Oh yeah, it was nuts.
Did you know Tom and Dan have been...
I did not expect that at all. Not in the least.
And then there was some questioning about what, how HBO was able to get away with it, but I guess because it's obviously fake.
Well, they
Dong.
colored it like a really cheap dildo.
Yeah. If it looked too real, they wouldn't be able to do it.
Right.
That's what I read.
Which was the same reason that South Park was able to get away with the penis on Trump. Because they put they changed it enough where the censors were like, well, it obviously does not look like a real penis, and no one's going to think it is. So it's a parody. I don't know.
Yeah. Because even in like South Park, when you're outside of FCC's control, because it's cable, you still have like indecency things that you can't show. There's still like rules.
Yes. But also this, I think they did all the things that you talk about. I think its normal time when it airs is safe harbor. And then any other time you get it, it would be considered a web-based show.
Yeah.
So you can't claim that it's on network,
But I guess even though it's a web, if you actually had someone sucking a real penis.
She sucks it, which is the part that was surprising to me. When I saw the penis.
A penis that looked real and she sucked it, they couldn't do.
When the penis comes out, I laughed. When she starts sucking the penis, and it's real quick, I was like, oh! I think that's what they were going for, right? Yeah. That's obviously they're going for. Okay.
Is it December 7th?
It is December 4th.
4th.
Thursday, December 4th. Doors at 6, show at 7. West End. The theater at West End. And he says, all new material and the craziest stories yet. A new trip. It's a new trip tour. And then tomorrow morning we have Wix at 10 and then show at noon, right? That's it?
Yes.
And we moved Damon. We just couldn't do it. Okay.
Because it was going to be too late, and then by the time we finished with him, we got to record these commercials.
Yeah. Also, it's a pretty big haul from Fox 35 to here. That's pretty far.
Yeah, so he wouldn't be here till 10:40.
Oh, I got him. Here we go. I figured out the way to see this better, I think. Hey, man, how are you? Good to see you again.
Hey guys,
What's going on?
I had to step up my beard game. I was like, the next time that Shane sees me,
come on,
you're
stealing my glory.
I want him to think that I give a damn about beards, man. But yeah, you're a bit of inspiration.
Good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And this guy, he's just getting healthy, so that's good too. That's also very good.
What gave you that idea?
Well, I'm a businessman. I can't just be hippieing around like you guys.
All right, let me double check. Okay, that looks good. That looks good.
Hippieing around. Oh man, I hope they add that to the. Don't they add like 40 words to the dictionary each year?
Hippieing around. I might actually use that again. All right, Mr. Van, do you want to start?
Sure.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. On the line with us right now, he's going to be at the West End Theater December 4th, doing some comedy.
Yes.
You can get your tickets at drinkatwestend.com. We've had this gentleman on the show before. Shane Mauss is on Zoom with us. How you doing, Shane?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Really good
Good.
to see you, man. I mean, brand new tour, and all new material. It's as crazy as stories yet. And I guess my first question to you would be, in order to get these crazy stories, because a lot of them seemingly are psychedelically induced, if that's even a way to say it, do you have to take breaks when you're trying to discover crazier stories? Do all of the stories involve some sort of psychedelics or no?
Are you trying to tell me something? Like, what are you, my mom? Come
No,
on.
no, but I'm just wondering if you do, like, if you're like, because I remember, if I remember correctly, I think the last time we talked to you, you had stepped away from marijuana.
Yeah, that's just that was I loved that stuff when I was a teenager. I had 4 glorious years, and then it just stopped agreeing with me. So certainly there's times when just like, you get into something for a while and then it stops sort of agreeing with you and you move on to the next thing. Life's a moving target. It's the same with like, sort of wellness things or whatever else in life where you get all excited about like playing pickleball for a while and then maybe your excitement plateaus and you get into mountain biking or what have you. And sometimes you kind of keep going with the one, and other times you sort of lose a little bit of interest over time. It's no different than anything else in life. Yes, you need to take breaks if you're doing regular large
Yeah.
experiences with psychedelics.
Big boys, yeah.
For sure. But yeah, that's always up to the individual. There's certainly a lot of pressure for me as a comedian to probably get myself in more pickles than I would otherwise because I've monetized my insanity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's an excellent observation. Yeah.
I always do tell myself when something's going horribly wrong in my life, like at least I'll be able to tell this on the show and
Exactly.
get some content out of it.
That's very much the like that's the sort of stuff that you run into where like I remember when I first got into like DMT dimethyltryptamine like I don't know 10 15 years ago or something like that. It was a really rare thing to find, and I was in Scotland at this festival, and this guy was like, "Hey, if you need any?" This comic was like, "You need any like weed or anything?" I'm like, "Well, you don't have any DMT by chance? There's nowhere to find it, do you?" And he was like, I know I might know somebody, and he calls me back a couple days later, and he's like, good news, bad news. Like I did find a guy. Problem is, he won't sell it. He'll only give it to you. I was like, well, that's okay. That's great deal. And then he's like, also he lives in a treehouse. And I'm like, I'm not seeing a problem with any of this.
Yeah, this all sounds, yeah.
These are just more good news.
You would say this
One
is Shane
after
Mauss
another.
approved.
So,
Yeah.
so you're telling me I get to go to a treehouse and get some free DMT?
Yeah, like this is like a no-brainer. And so and then he was like, yeah, I know, but it's like the reason why it's free is because like it's a spiritual thing for it, and like he has this these feelings about capitalism or money or whatever, but he does want to barter because he's like giving you the DMT. He still wants. He's wondering if you can bring him a barrel of biofuel, and I'm like, well, can't I just like give him cash money?
A barrel of
Like, this is
biofuel.
why we have these like these little non-fungible.
Yeah. Like how about I just digitally send you Venmo you, then you buy
Yeah.
your own fuel.
So are you finding how did you find your barrel?
And exactly. So I didn't because I was like, I was like, well, what am I'm gonna be pulling up to fast food joints to get their old fry grease or something. I don't even know what biofuel is or whatever. And so I ended up not doing it. But that was like one of those things I ended up kicking myself for because I'm like, well, like I'm a comedian. It's my job to go around and find biofuel and like roll it through the woods, or maybe I don't know what. Maybe he lives in a cul-de-sac. It's like house, tree house, house. I don't. I don't know, and I'll never know because like I didn't do my job as a comedian, which was like go and check out this weird situation. But you just can't live your life like that, saying yes to every single scenario that
Totally
comes
true.
up, or you'll run yourself into trouble.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Shane, I got a question for you. So, for all of us laymen out here that maybe haven't dabbled in all the psychedelics, could you explain to us what the difference between like and the feeling and kind of the trip of mushrooms, DMT, regular acid, like kind of go through each psychedelic and tell us like what your experience with each one is?
Yeah, sure. So I am going to first turn the ringer off on my phone.
Oh man,
Sorry.
I need to learn that lesson, but I'll talk about that tomorrow on the other show.
So yeah, so I would say like mushrooms and LSD are pretty in the same territory. Mushrooms shorter, a little more intense for the average person. Some people's experiences are just the opposite, but that's the traditionally what you'll see, and it's a lot of like more melty, blendy type things. LSD is a bit more manageable in the regular doses, but it's kind of adding more of a sparkle onto things, a little more sharp, jagged edges,
Interesting.
and increased verbal fluency usually. So this is and it's a 12-hour long thing, so it's an intolerably long time. But if you're at a festival or something like that, and you just want something to like mix it up a little bit and stay up you know, it's day three of having to listen to jam bands for 12 hours straight, and that idea looked better on paper. That's a good time for LSD. Mushrooms is a little more like sit at home, watch the animal planet, think about all of existence and how we got to be here. MDMA is like more of like a body feeling. It's like a little bit speedy, a little bit lovey-dovey in the body. So there's some contention about whether it should even be considered a psychedelic, but I would say that we don't really even know what that word means. It means mind manifesting, but who knows? Empathy inducing, that's a good one for if you're in a relationship and you want to connect on a different level. Maybe you get to share some of those underlying issues in a loving, compassionate way that you don't normally get a chance to express. And then DMT is like an out of body experience where you go to like another world completely. And that's the active ingredient in ayahuasca. And so that's really taken things up a notch in terms of level of intensity.
Is that your
which-
favorite, the DMT? I mean, what favorite? I don't like using that term, but like, is that one that maybe you like to spend more of your time in, or like to discover, or which one do you enjoy or find is the most beneficial to you?
Beneficial? I mean, I'm an explorer and an adventurer, so I don't oversell the benefits, although I don't think they need to be oversold because I think that there is a tremendous amount of mental health benefits for psychedelics, but that's not really my
Gotcha.
role in the space. I think that there's a lot of people out there that I think that there's a ton of potential, and we need more research, and also that there's a lot of overzealous claims being made.
Yes.
That I worry about people jumping into these things that don't quite know what they're getting themselves into. And so something like ketamine is actually pretty good if you're looking for something a little more toward the intense side, but you're new to psychedelics and you want to have a real experience, and it's more of like a mental health type of thing. You're looking to break up some ongoing depression issues, some anxiety, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. Because there's professional ketamine clinics pretty much all over the place. Ketamine's a Schedule 3 rather than a Schedule 1. Schedule 1 is the most restrictive. Cocaine, amphetamines, opiates and stuff are Schedule 2. Marijuana and psychedelics are Schedule 1, according to our federal government, which will hopefully change one of these days. But it's just some baggage left over from the Nixon campaign way back when, and no one's really done much to change it. But ketamine's protected under international law because it has a lot of good hospital use, and traditionally it's been used all over the place for surgeries and relatively safe when administered properly. But in the right dose, you have this whole kind of out-of-body-ish experience, and it seems that for a lot of people, it makes them kind of able to let go of some of the patterns that they're in for at least a short amount of time. Something like suicidal ideations seem to subside immediately in a lot of people, and so there's a lot of potential like acute use there, and you can have it administered professionally. So because of that, and it's legal and everything else, that's kind of my go-to in terms of if I were some new person looking to get into the space.
That's a good answer.
Do you think the Matthew Perry thing with the ketamine set ketamine back, the marketing of it, people like all of a sudden they're like, oh, like, you know, it was being marketed as like this is helping people and it's helping professionals or
it hits the
administrators.
news cycle, hits the churn.
And all of a sudden, like, you know, Matthew Perry, you know, ODs, I guess, and they attribute it to ketamine, you know, and like, I guess, you know, technically drowned, or I'm not even sure.
I'm not even sure.
When you saw that, what did you think?
I mean, could it happen? I suppose the story doesn't make that much sense to me. Was that the only thing they found in a system? Either way, yeah. I mean, there's always going to be issues with these sorts of things, which is why, you know, I advocate for doing them in a clinical setting and not a hot tub.
Right. Yeah.
At the tail end of lots of other drugs.
Well said.
Yeah, it set things back. Quite a bit. It was kind of a double doozy. 2024 was a really bad year for psychedelics, I would say, or they kind of peaked around 2023. There was a lot of enthusiasm. The MDMA was going to FDA after all these incredible studies for PTSD. It was going to get approved by the FDA, and everything was looking very good after decades of work and working in the FDA to approve this for use for PTSD, and then that would hopefully lead this cascade toward creating more change. There was some drama within the psychedelic community that kind of led to some sabotaging and stuff, and FDA ended up not approving it. That was around the same time the Matthew Perry thing happened for ketamine. So MDMA and ketamine took a huge hit right at the same time, and unnecessarily so, if you ask me, especially because those are pretty benign, safe ones. And meanwhile, the things are opening up in other ways where there's like a whole bunch of crazy stuff at head shops that I don't think anyone should be doing. But they're just, because of the way the market is, there's just weird.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, that's all over my feed right now. Or like these gas station, I guess I'm using air quotes, medicines or things that
like salvia.
I mean, there's even stuff I've never even heard of before that are in these little, you know, kind of head shop deals.
Isn't it salvia, Shane? That and I forgot the comedian's name. We talked to him, but he's like, it's spread around the internet where he's talking to Joe Rogan, and he said he did it and then lived a life like he was basically lived a 2-month or 3-month real time in his mind life, and then snapped out of it, and he had this insane like time lapse. And apparently a lot of people have reported the same thing, where they they pass
go
out
in for months,
3
months.
They pass out for 30 seconds, and they're like, I just, I've been here for months and months or years or something like that.
Heard that.
What is that?
Multiple lifetimes, I would say. I would say a few months is really underselling.
I was in there for 2 weeks, Shane.
A multiple lifetime.
Like, just so you know, because I wouldn't want someone coming out and be like, I thought you said it was just gonna feel like a few months.
There's multiple lifetimes.
He's like, I was there for 4 full lifetimes.
Yeah. I mean, so our consciousness, this thing that we call us and our experience. Not to, I mean, there's no clean way of talking about these things without sounding like completely woo nonsense. But this is grounded in. You could ask any neuroscientist on Earth, and they would tell you that our conscious experience, whatever it is just a tiny little sliver of what the brain is doing. My intuition is that there is lots of other things going on in our subconscious mind all of the time, including running plans and simulations about our future and what we're going to be doing after this interview and where we're going to go to dinner when I come through Orlando or whatever, and kind of imagining these things without those simulations necessarily being delivered up into our kind of mind's eye where we more tangibly feel those things. And this is how we make our way through life and consolidate memories and everything else. I believe that psychedelics create some inhibitory effects that allow your consciousness to experience some of those spaces that you wouldn't normally. And the speed of those spaces is a very different works on a very different timeline, because if you think of the way that the brain usually works, like 1 second is a very short amount of time for us. But if your hand is on a burner or something, 1 second is much too long for a brain to respond. And so,
And then like people in car
a lot of
crashes.
time dilation that happens.
Yeah, and people in
if
car
you're
crashes
on a different level of perception.
talk about experiencing time and it slows down, and that's you've heard that so many times, like when an emergency or like a crash is happening,
Exactly.
it slows down. Everybody says the same story, like time slowed down for me while this emergency was happening.
Exactly, and you hear a lot of people, reporting, something like that. You nearly get in that car accident, and your quote unquote your life flashes before your eyes or whatever. It's generally, if you've ever experienced something like that, it's generally not like a fun little trip down memory lane. It's usually, I think that it's probably your brain very quickly searching back through as many memories as possible to try to retrieve something useful for the situation. Did I see a MacGyver episode or something that could get me out of?
Yeah, is there anything here? Yeah, we all know what that feels like. Again, Shane's going to be at Weston Trading Company. That's in Sanford. If you've never been, go there. It's a great place for comedy. Thursday, December 4th, doors at 6, show at 7.
Shane, let's get real deep right now, all right?
I'm your guy.
Yeah. So I'm fascinated by all this, and I'm fascinated by anytime I see someone who's into psychedelics start explaining to me like, man, my life has changed. I've seen the truth. And that's a similar narrative to a lot of people that have done and experimented with psychedelics a lot, at least enough to get into heavy doses where they go through experiences that change them in some way.
Right.
And they always say, like, I've seen the reality
I understand what's happening here.
of what we're doing, and then like I like marijuana. Sometimes when I get really high, I start thinking about like, what are we doing? Like, why am I working day to day only to, like, my life is short. So I why am I just living in this society, working, paying taxes, doing that? Like, I should be out experiencing life. Why the hell? Like, I'm just all gonna be dead one day. I go through all these things, but for you, when you hear someone say they've seen the truth, what does that mean to you?
Well, I've actually never heard anyone report marijuana leading them to dislike their job, so that might be unique to you.
Well, a lot. If you,
He's an angry. He gets really pissed off when he smokes weed.
Next, you're going to tell me it made you want to play video games.
or when you eat it, doesn't it have a psychedelic effect a little bit, Shane? When you eat it and ingest marijuana.
Yeah. So I mean, in terms of seeing the truth, I do think that that is, first of all, it's so there's a couple things going on here. One, I don't mean to dismiss anyone's lived experience, and also, I'm going to dismiss a lot of people's lived experiences.
Yes, I love
Sorry.
dismissing.
But with respect, I think that a lot of times those what I think this goes more to say leads to more evidence that this is inside of your mind, that it feels so these qualities that people describe, which is like it feels very alien, but it's familiar at the same time, and then it feels like more real than reality, and but resonates in some way. I think that's just because it's a different part of your operating system that you're not normally privy to. That certainly doesn't explain everything and everyone's experiences, because it would take hours and hours to do, um, but I think that yeah, especially when you're new to it, you go, "Oh my God, that was everything. That was the absolute truth." And that's how it felt. And then you go, "Well, screw this reality." And but if you're questioning this reality, which I think is really important to do, because this reality is all sorts of imperfect in our perceptions of it, then also, why aren't you questioning the reality that you spent, 10 minutes of lifetimes in, or whatever? I've just like I've not got why we don't have the same critical approach to understanding, to thinking through these worlds that we see. And generally, what you'll find is people that either haven't done psychedelics or have only done them once are the most convinced that their perspective of this experience was this like one true reality. And then you do it a little more, and I feel like you start picking up on some of the if you do something like DMT enough to get bored with DMT, like I have, you start going like, oh, okay, I think I get the like some of the laser light show stuff. I've looked past that now, and I'm not lost in the awe as much. And I think I can kind of understand that this is not necessarily some almighty truth that we need to abandon our lives and quit our jobs for. I mean, of course, we all want to quit our jobs.
Yeah, all of us do. Being as experienced as you are and knowledgeable, and you're talking with multiple scientists, and obviously you're a comedian, so you're trying to weave, the comedy into the science to grab people's attention, though. Do you ever still have a bad experience? I mean, you know a lot about it.
Bad trip.
Yeah. Do you set yourself up for success, though? I would imagine that knowing you, this is our second time talking to you. We find you super fascinating, but you're the guy that I would think of when I'm talking to Tom. I'd be like, well, Shane's obviously going to set him up for success. He knows what he's doing, right? Like, we might bumble it. Do you still ever have a bad, or do you ever still bumble it, or like, does that happen?
Yeah, I mean, especially because sometimes there's like a new one or a new thing that I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I've been hearing about this. That sounds interesting enough, and then I go to do it with someone, but then I'm like Shane Mauss, the psychedelic comedian, so people think that they ought to give me like a little more than they would give a normal person, and I'm like, "Well, can we go low? I would like I would like the body buzz thing." They're like, "Yeah, yeah, this would be like a small like a body buzz," and then I like do it, and then I'm like, "Oh." Yeah, that was not. And then they're like afterwards, they're like, "Oh yeah, well, I just thought you'd benefit from like doing, 10 times what someone's supposed to." Like I didn't, I didn't sign up for seeing the end of time. I just wanted like to feel like my feet to feel a little fuzzy for a couple
Right,
of
right. I just want to see some. I want to see some fairies flying around or something. I didn't necessarily want to go to
But
the end of everything.
when you're seeing that, that's what I think scares a lot of people like myself, where like I've done microdoses of mushrooms and stuff, but like the mega dose, they were like, oh,
Don't they, what do they call it? The hero's dose?
Hero's
Isn't that
dose.
what they toss around?
and,
Yeah,
and,
come on.
but I get like that's what you need to flush it all out and to like change your perspective. But I'm also like, man, I don't want to, like, whatever my brain has protected me from emotionally throughout my life and like compartmentalize it.
I don't want to ruin them.
Like it's all going to come flooding out and I'm like going to be terrified and go through like 6 hours of just being scared out of my mind. I mean, how likely is that to happen to to the average person if they take a hero's dose?
That's a good question. How likely?
Now, hold on. I have to give him the camera legally. When he gets a good question, I have to put the camera back on Tom.
Because as some people, like, myself, have pushed it all down, have like, don't think about that. No, like, don't fix this problem for so long that I'm like, all those demons are going to start.
See, I've never.
Yeah, no, you would freak out for sure. You in particular, you would freak out. Most people be just fine, though.
But you don't like the freak out, right? Like even on marijuana, he and I have had instances where like I've gotten so high before where it feels terrible, but there's something about that navigating the terrible that I very much enjoy. Like and I love it, and I tell him I love it, and he's like, "Why do you love that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I can't explain why I like that."
I'm that same way with weed, which I only have like once or twice a year. But when I do, I need to do so much that I have a complete panic attack.
Yes, this guy gets it.
I'm like, I want to do that again.
Finally, somebody understands what I've been talking
Who
about.
wants to induce a panic attack?
Well, because this is my theory. I suffer from anxiety and a little bit of depression, and a lot of my anxiety, I will have to work really hard to control it. But this artificial anxiety that I create with marijuana, for whatever reason, I can control it better than my day-to-day normal anxiety. So it feels good to me. Like, I don't know what that, or maybe I think I can control. I don't know what that is, but that's what it feels like.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think that every situation, every person's going to be different. Sometimes there's the reframing of the is it a bad trip or a difficult trip? And some people are like, there's no such thing as a bad trip. What people think is a bad trip is just an opportunity to learn these silver lining lessons, blah, blah, blah. And I think that would be misleading for sure. There's certainly bad trips out there that aren't helping anybody. But at the same time, fretting about them too much, I would say, is not helping things too much. I mean, it kind of just depends on what kind of set and setting, and again, this is why something like a ketamine clinic, where it's like we have a pretty standardized, we're going to give you a milligram per kilogram and of ketamine, and know that that's going to be like a nice, significant for a first timer experience, but nothing too crazy that it's going to be like traumatizing or something like that. And hopefully we'll be able to have more standardized things for all this stuff in the future. Certainly things are going that way. I would say there's the Wild West and Maverick stuff of what you're seeing in gas stations, and that's concerning. But then there's some retreats and stuff like that are imperfect, but getting a lot better than where things used to be.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Are people still traveling to South America as much, or they're like now they're doing the ayahuasca here in the States, right? And like some, or is it still they going to the jungle, or what have you seen?
It's like a form of tourism.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of tourism, and so it's like it's a lot of, you need to, once everyone's like, enough people have traveled to Peru to do ayahuasca, then it's no longer something you can brag to your friends about. And so people are going for, further and more. It's a little bit, just novelty for novelty's sake, and people are getting into, there's Ibogaine tourism now is a big one. Like, I haven't done Ibogaine, and that's like,
what's that?
That could be like a 24-hour experience. I remember I asked Rick Doblin of the Multidisciplinary Association of Psychedelic Studies, because Ibogaine's really intense. They have like defibrillators and everything nearby. It's something that people use to break addiction and all of these other things. And And so I asked him, I was like, Rick, I was thinking about doing the Ibogaine, but I've heard it can be like a 12-hour nightmare. And he's like, oh, no, it can be much longer than that.
With a defibrillator, like your heart can stop.
Yeah. And so people are, there's just more like social pressure to be on the cutting edge of this and that experience, and ayahuasca is no longer scratching that itch in the same way that it once did. So people are moving on to
I gotta have that defib.
Is that a natural? Where's Ibogaine come from?
Africa, I believe.
Yeah, but is it like some sort of animal poison or plant?
Kind of forget. I believe it's a root, but I'm not the person to ask.
Okay, but it's essentially though our body thinks it's poison, and I guess the last question is like, what causes that psychedelic effect, and then how do people even find out that these things? Like how did someone discover Ibogaine or even ayahuasca? Is it like people that lived out in the woods did it and that just traveled? Then society found out about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they evolved slowly over time. Well, it seems a lot of hunter-gatherers and things will try like tiny little bits of things, and usually after like a dieta, meaning they'll like sometimes go intentionally without food and water for a long time, and then have like the tiniest little bit of a plant to see, like to like really feel every bit of it because they haven't eaten in a few days and that sort of thing, and so that's how some of these things maybe start taking off in the first place, and people do microdose things like Ibogaine. And so maybe it started that way, and then you go larger and larger until you overshoot things, and then sometimes overshooting things is a experience within itself where it's just like you aren't a man until you've had this experience, and then it becomes attached to this like formative experience of like you got to do this thing.
It's
and then
ceremonial, and then it becomes rites of passage for man or something, right?
Yeah, you tie your balls to a tree or whatever, and everyone slaps you while you're taking a weird herb, and then afterwards you're a man, or whatever. Like there has to be some
That's what's
sort
wrong
of
with the world. We got rid of all that.
situation.
There's no
we can't just let manhood just like happen through time.
Yeah,
and,
Shane,
and hormone. You need to do something like deeply traumatizing to yourself.
That's the problem, is we don't have any men tying their balls to trees anymore.
Yeah,
It's
that
slapped.
is the problem. with men
Wait until I
today,
tell my
for
sons
sure.
what they have to do to become a man.
Yeah. So in the way that it's described is like it could be like 12 hours, like a very father figure, like 12 hours of like a talking to, and then 12 hours where like you let yourself off the hook for a lot of mistakes and stuff in life, which is like
Interesting.
that kind of follows a conscious narrative of if you feel like you're dying for 12 hours, and then at the end of it you're like, okay, I'm not going to die, but I'm still experiencing this for 12 more hours, and
That's
what do I
fascinating.
do with the visions that I just had, where everything just came back to me of everything that I've ever done wrong in my life to get here, because you were dying, so your brain is going like, wait, where did we go wrong along the way?
That's
and you
really
find all
fascinating.
these critical moments that were that changed your life course.
And there's no way to predict the amount of time that's going to take. Like just like your friend was saying, I mean, it could be, it's going to at least be 12, but could be like way more.
It's also interesting because a lot of people report after a near-death experience that they look at life differently after that, and so I wonder if that all ties into like extreme trips. Is like, your mind thinks it's a near-death experience, and then like you come out at the other end
More appreciative,
Well, Shane, we appreciate it so much. Again, get your tickets at drinkatwestend.com. December 4th, he's going to be at the West End Theater. go and see Shane Mauss.
A
and-
great place to see it. They just, the theater's phenomenal. Shane's been there before. The Westin always treats us right, and they will treat you right. Thank you for your time today, man. It's always a pleasure talking
Thank
to you.
you. Yeah, and hopefully my comedy show is not a near-death experience.
No, you know what? We get a lot of heat.
But if it is, we'll learn so much.
Yeah,
from it.
yeah.
Well, that's the thing, Shane. Like, obviously, you're a comedian, so like, what we're talking about today, like, and I'm sure some of it is irrelevant in the show, but it's like I just like having a discussion about psychedelics
Yeah.
with you because last time
I appreciate you.
We don't get a
guys.
lot of smart people on our show, so when
Yeah.
we have one, it's fun to pick the guy's brain a little bit, Thank you for your time,
thank you,
man, and we'll
guys.
see
I
you in
appreciate
Sanford. Okay? See you, man.
What's that?
I said we'll see you in Sanford. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
See
ya,
you, man. I fumbled the ending. God
So
damn,
close.
fumbled the ending. Oh, we did it.
you're
Fumbled
so
the-
close,
so
so
close.
perfect. And
He's
then
like, what's that? And I'm like, I love you.
you're like, oh, what? Oh,
What?
Oh,
What was that, Dan? What was that, Dan?
I
have diarrhea. I love you.
he cuts out and then he's like, oh, he's calling again.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
hold on. Hold on.
What was that, Dan? God damn, I have diarrhea.
All right, we'll be right
Hey,
back.
no, Jen just said the worst thing anybody can say to me. She said, cringe. I hate cringe. Anybody tells me cringe, I'm like, you're cringe. You think I'm cringe? You're cringe.
We'll be right back. That'll be Tuesday 3.
Tuesday 3.
Next Tuesday, which
Yeah.
is
Thank you for the date. Do we have anything else on that Tuesday?
no, nothing that we recorded.
Okay, great. We just got to do some intros. Yep. What number is that one? 3? All right. Hey guys, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. Love to all of you guys for hanging out with us. Hopefully we get to see you at the Beer Fest this weekend. And